Basil, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad, man. How's yourself?
Very good, very good. Yeah, no, keeping well, keeping well. What
Yeah.
do we have this? What do we have this week?
Well, we got a good one this week. For episode 3, we decided to go with The True History of the Ned Kelly Gang, which stars George McKay, who was in 1917. I think most people know him from that. Why did we pick this one, Alex?
So it was a wild card, to be honest. From my point of view, I watched the trailer, and the trailer sold it for me. So it's on Amazon. First of all, it's on Prime Video. It is rated 18, which means it's violent, and there is plenty of violence in it. But
It's not for the faint-hearted. This one, is it?
Absolutely not. No, that's true. Yeah, it was a wild card sort of bet that actually paid off, because this was it was a good film to see. George McKay is the main actor that plays Ned Kelly. It's all about the bandits that the bushrangers, like they were called in Australia back in the 1870s, when the convicts were using the wilderness of Australia as a to hide from authorities, and Ned Kelly was one of them that went against them and formed the gang with his family and things like that. So
made up of his family, wasn't it, and his friends?
Yeah. So it's based on a true story. This person actually existed, and his family, and this whole drama with him. But it's actually, the film itself, I thought, is very far from. It's not focused on being historically accurate. Is that right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a strange relationship between that true story, which we all know about, and the way the director goes about putting his artistic touch on the film. Really, it's like a mix of that, So he's using this kind of like storyline of this heroic figure in Australian history, and he's put his own paint of artistic merit on it, really. And I think the two work really well, because I've already watched the 2003 version of it was just called Ned Kelly with Heath Ledger in it, and that was a very kind of traditional sort of film, and there was quite a lot of parallels. I'll say about 2 scenes in particular that it was parallel both of the films in what took place. So for instance, like one of the scenes that was in the 2003 version was when they kind of ambushed those 3 officers. I think it's 3 or 4 officers that they end up killing. Like those scenes were almost
no spoilers. No spoilers, please.
No spoilers. Well, it's true story. It's not spoiling it. But it's like those scenes were almost indisputable, really. But then, obviously, as I say, with the artistic side to this one that we've just seen, it's loads more interesting. This one,
absolutely. I think this one is more accurately representing the time and the way people
the harsh reality.
The harsh reality is really, it's just, from being a child in that sort of family all the way to trying to become somebody in life in that sort of environment, and the abuse of the authorities. And it's just looking at how the film is put together, even the settings tell a harsh story of how they used to live.
The landscape itself is dead,
just looking at these characters and what they were supposed to, what sort of life they were supposed to have, and they were dealt a bad hand just by living in that part of the world in those times, and then trying to make something of themselves is pretty much a lost bet already, to be honest.
Yeah, and quite clearly from the get-go, it's like, if you're not like a white male that works for the law, you're gonna struggle pretty much in society.
Exactly.
It's like even when the law is as corrupt as it was, then you're in no man's land now. And it's like, I think it's quite apparent that's going to be a struggle for Ned growing up.
Correct.
Straight away.
I liked. I wasn't expecting to see Russell Crowe in it, but
Neither
then he's pretty much in any Australian film that is made now. He turns up in it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and it took me 15 minutes of screen time before I realised it was even him. That's how good he was in this. I really appreciated his character.
Correct. Yeah. So, question 1 that we ask every week: would you watch it again?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think there's lots to be
digested.
Yeah. And noted on the second time of viewing, to be honest, really.
I think,
and it is just an entertaining film anyway,
It is, it is. I think it's very much less glamorous than all the other Ned Kelly films, to be honest, because there's TV series and things, I believe, also out there.
Yeah.
And it has parts that are hard to digest. So I would watch it again, but I will give it a bit of a cool down before the second watching, just to
I think it'd be a week or two
process what I've seen already.
Yeah. I think what you just made the point about it less glamorous as well, because there's quite a lot of references of him being a coward in the film by his own mother, and like if you were comparing it to the 2003 one, there's never a mention of him ever being a coward, know. But it's like with this one, is like the main character George Mackay, he kind of has to deal with that kind of inside himself. He's not the man of the house, he's not the man of the family, because he has a few scenes where he can reach his potential, but he always ends up backing down. So I'd say not glamorous.
True, not glamorous at all. Would you go to the cinema and pay for the ticket to see it?
Absolutely, I would. Yeah, definitely. If I saw the trailer for it like you did, I think we saw the same one, because I think you sent it to me. I would be foolish not to go, because it's just like cinema. The cinematography alone in it looked interesting from the trailer, and it's got stars in it. So it's going to be a decent film. Yeah. The director himself,
is the sort of film that you pay, and you go in and it's a full on good surprise, because you went in not knowing exactly what to think about it, and then you came out and said, okay, good choice. So
it would surprise you.
The next part is the spoiler heavy question. So the question is, what scene did you think summed up the film best? So for everybody that wants to watch it, just stop the clip and come back after you've seen it. Basil, which scene do you think you liked the best in the film that summed up the film?
Summed it up the most? I would say, like with the film from 2003 with Heath Ledger, it's when they are having a final standoff with the Victoria Police. Is it the Victoria Police?
Yeah, Victoria Police, yeah.
That whole kind of army that comes to get them at the end on the train, which eventually the train gets stopped. This is all in folklore. This is true.
Correct.
And having that standoff where the Ned Kelly gang, the last four of them, one of which being his own brother, has to make that final stand pretty much in the inn. They've kind of kidnapped a few civilians in this inn, and it's just this awful kind of tragic standoff where again, not glamorous. Innocent people are dying, children are dying because the police are shooting into this pub
with hostages in basically.
With hostages, I know. So there's no glory in anything, and I think Ned at that moment is summarising. Why am I doing all this? My family's been destroyed by this. My mother's in jail. I'm being shot at. My friends are being killed around me. The people that adore me are being killed around me. And as I look outside, it's just an array of the police force which have come to arrest me, and it's like
it's almost
there's nowhere to turn. There's nowhere to turn. It just
like
summarises his life.
Nature turning against him, because he's got no chance, and he's got he got to a point in his life when he's like, this is it. This is the path I've chosen. And it doesn't end up well.
It's quite hard to watch as well, because he's crying with I think it's his own brother. They end up in tears, crying with each other, and it's like it's hard, because again, he's meant to be a hero. That's meant to be the bravery of Australia, but in that moment, he's questioning everything he's done until that point in the film.
Yeah, excellent, good. Indeed, good recommendation. It's on Prime Video. It's called The True History of the Kelly Gang. And it's pretty good. Thanks a lot, Basil, and we'll see you all next week.
Cheers, man. Nice one.
Cheers.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.